Welcome to my channel. Never let anyone tell you you can't do it. You are determined and you have a choice. You are free to shape your own path. In this video I'll share real evidence, something you won't find in any book. This is my personal story, a true experience that proves one thing: you are capable of achieving anything you set your mind to. I was born into a humble family in Ukraine. At that time we were all part of the USSR, a closed-off world where getting accurate information about other countries was nearly impossible. In the Soviet Union, people were destined to live in poverty. But in 1991, the USSR collapsed, and suddenly we had a chance, a new beginning. No one saw it coming, but it happened. Many young people left to other countries in search of a better life. I didn't. I had a baby at that time. After graduated from university, I quickly realized that my profession as a linguist and teacher was no longer in demand. Like many others who couldn't find work in Ukraine, I turned to selling foreign consumer goods just to make a living. My first small business? Selling Chinese clothes and linens. I moved to Kiev, the capital of Ukraine, in search of a better life, carrying just $50 in my pocket. That money was enough to rent a tiny room. With no background in business or economics, only humanitarian education, I had to find people who could teach me the basics of retail. I learned quickly because I had no other choice. I had a family to support. In just a few years, I transformed from a linguist into an entrepreneur, taking my first steps towards success. But it wasn't easy. I had to juggle multiple roles: accountant, marketing manager, sales manager, and even at times a warehouse loader. To gain professional sales experience, I even worked briefly at a company that sold packaging materials. At 25, I was divorced and deeply unhappy. I kept asking myself, why? Why was I, a young, educated and attractive woman, feeling so miserable? It felt unfair. I lived like a hamster on a wheel, constantly running but going nowhere. That's when I made a decision. I had to change my life. Do you ever feel the same way? That longing for happiness, health, love, a home, financial stability, just simple dreams of an ordinary woman. When we are unhappy, we often ask God, why is this happening to me? I did the same. I read the Bible every day, searching for answers. And then, unexpectedly, the answer came. One day, my boss, who lived in the USA at that time, gave me a book to read for a week. It was my first ever business book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen R. Covey. And here's the crazy part. Just a year later, on my 26th birthday, my Chinese business partner gifted me the exact same book. Coincidence? Maybe. That book totally flipped my perspective. It shifted my mindset and transformed the way I saw success. I learned that true achievement isn't about luck. It's about integrating fundamental principles into my character. Here they are. Be proactive. Begin with the end in mind. Put first things first. Think win-win. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. Synergize. Sharpen the soul. Simple? Yes. Powerful? Absolutely. These consistent, smart steps helped me grow. And the moment I started applying them to my life, everything began to change. No destiny, no predetermined fate. I was in control of my life. I had the power to build my own future. I wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth. I had responsibilities. I had a child to take care of. But I knew I had the power to achieve happiness, health and wealth. It all started with my habits, my mindset, and the first small steps toward my goals. And guess what? Within a few years, those small steps completely transformed my vision and even my career. So, believe me, your life will change the moment you decide to change yourself. The power is yours. Skills matter. What you sow, you will reap. Throughout my life, I've constantly developed new skills, and that's what made me resilient and confident. At one point, I realized I needed an exciting and fulfilling job, something different from the routine and exhausting role of a sales manager in the packaging industry. That's when I decided to join an advertising agency. Creative work, a young and energetic team, an atmosphere of optimism. I loved everything about it. I was so ready to dive in and be part of something exciting. That job unlocked my creative potential and gave me a vision for the future. It also introduced me to a whole new skill set. Selling advertising, what we jokingly called selling ear, was a challenge. To become the best at negotiations, cold calls and persuasion, I had to improve my communication skills, take psychological training and master persistence. Back then, advertising and publishing were booming. But remember, there was no social media, no online sales. It was the golden era of newspapers, glossy magazines, radio and TV ads. Everything was new to me, and I embraced it. Thanks to my previous sales experience, I quickly became one of the top advertising agents in our agency. My first big client, Scania, a Swedish company, and I was shocked when their representative told me they were ready to sign a contract with me. It was a prestigious client, and landing that deal was my first big success in the advertising world. So here's the lesson: be proactive. This principle truly works. After Scania, more clients came my way, and then it hit me: why not start my own ad agency and make even more? I focused on my circle of influence. I spoke with my clients, asking if they would continue working with me if I left my current agency. Their answer? Yes. At first, I worked as a freelancer, building my reputation and saving money. And once I had enough, I made it official. I registered my very own ad agency. Wow! Just a few years ago, I knew nothing about the advertising business, and now here I was, leading my own team. Skills are like beads on a necklace. Each one adds to your personal growth. When you are proactive and achieve your first small success, take a moment to ask yourself who you truly want to become: a top professional, a caring parent, or maybe a famous artist, politician, or fashion designer. Whatever it is, you need clarity. That's why writing a personal mission statement is so powerful. It helps you see if you are on the right path. So, if you refine the skills you already have, you'll become great at what you do. But if you want to achieve something greater, you must step beyond the familiar, push your limits, explore the unknown, and reach for bigger success. From my own life experience, I can tell you this: every new skill opens doors, more opportunities, more knowledge, and more valuable connections that accelerate your success. Put first things first. Even though I had no experience as a team leader, I had a strong desire to start, so I took action. I hired two amazing people, Anton and Tanya, who were students at the same institute where I rented my first office. I was 30 years old, the oldest in our tiny company, and suddenly I felt something new, a deep sense of responsibility for my employees. That's when I realized my next skill to develop was leadership. You can read countless books on leadership, and I did, but the most important rule at the start is this: think, win, win. If you build relationships with your team and customers only as a boss, not as a partner, you will lose sooner or later. Everyone in your team must feel like they are winning. That's what keeps a business running and growing. And that, my friends, was one of the biggest lessons on my journey to success. And then came my next big skill, the skill of publishing. The idea for a magazine wasn't mine. It came from one of my clients, a builder. Together we developed the content, designed the layout, and sent the blueprints to print. And that's when I truly realized new skills bring new ideas led to actions, and the right actions create real results. At 31, I became a publisher. I launched my own magazine about housing, construction, and interior design. It was a creative and exciting business, though it wasn't always easy. I often stayed up at night to oversee the printing process. But the effort paid off. My income grew, and with it, new opportunities and respect followed. Even with a small editorial team of just 7 people, we produced a high-quality glossy magazine that gained popularity. Soon our reputation strengthened. A few years later, the Embassy of Finland in Kyiv noticed our magazine. As part of a Finnish government marketing program, I was invited on a 7-day business trip to Finland. Imagine my shock and excitement. Along with 16 other publishers from Ukraine, I visited some of Finland's top factories and companies. But that wasn't the only life-changing moment during this time. It was through publishing that I met my second husband. And for that, I will always be grateful, because at last I found happiness and my family was complete. I synergized. Together we achieved more. By combining the strength of my team through positive teamwork, we built something great. For 9 unforgettable years, my team and I thrived in publishing world, created a magazine we were truly proud of. But as I've said before, life is always changing. And in 2009, everything shifted. The economic and political crisis hit hard, and my publishing business struggled. At the same time, digital media was rising, taking over the print industry. I had to make a tough decision to close my publishing office and step into the unknown once again. Time to sharpen the saw. Life was pushing me, yet again, towards self-renewal and growth. I wasn't broke, I had savings, and for the first time in years, I had the chance to pause and reflect on my next steps. But losing my first big project wasn't easy. I missed it. So I did something I had never done before. I embraced the pause. As the poet William Henry Davies wrote in Leisure, "A poor life this, if full of care, we have no time to stand and stare." How true! Sometimes stepping back is necessary. It gives us clarity, allowing us to assess our skills, resources, and connections, and most importantly, discover new opportunities. And that's exactly what I did. At least during that difficult time, I wasn't alone. My family stood by me, and their support gave me strength. In a year, I took my next step. I used my past connections and my husband's experience. Together, we opened my first retail shop, selling office furniture for kids in a shopping mall. Over the next 7 years, we expanded, growing into a small retail network of 5 stores in Kyiv and later opening 2 more in other cities. But then everything changed again. First came COVID, then war. Life tested me once more. The full story of how I witnessed war in my house you can watch in my first video. In Ukraine, I achieved my dream, what some might call the American dream. I had the freedom to do what I loved, a happy family, a home, and most importantly, the ability to shape my own future. But let me tell you this, these opportunities are not exclusive to the US. They exist in every civilized country for those who dare to chase them. What I've shared today is only a short version of my story. In my next video, I'll reveal something truly fascinating, how the universe sent me signs to guide my path. Life is unpredictable. Dark moments always give way to light, and vice versa. But what we can control is our ability to pause and reflect. Don't get caught running in circles like a hamster on a wheel. Ask yourself, why am I doing this right now? Do I have the freedom to pursue my goals? Am I truly happy? Sometimes I wonder, maybe there is meaning in being a witness to war. Maybe enduring such hardship is an expected gift, a lesson in resilience. And maybe your breakdown, if it happens, is only a life lesson and a pause that can be useful for your new opportunity. And remember, you are not defined by limits. All it takes is one step in the right direction.